A big-time pattern shift is ahead for the continental US after multiple days of severe weather this past week, stretching from the Pacific Northwest to the East Coast. The Storm Prediction Center has put out a marginal risk for some severe storms in the southeast U.S. for Friday, April 19th, where a warm, unstable air mass exists ahead of a broad trough of cooler air filtering over the Appalachians. Gusty winds and some large hail are the primary threats in Friday's marginal risk area. Isolated storms in the Gulf Coast states, especially inland through Texas, are possible along and south of a stalled frontal boundary. That stalled boundary will likely be the trigger for rounds of storms in Texas and the Gulf Coast states through the weekend. As of this recording, no large-scale severe weather is expected over the weekend. A generally quiet weather pattern, a big change from this past week, is expected for the week of April 21st. Cooler than average temperatures are expected behind the trough, with that air mass overtaking much of the eastern half of the U.S. Even along the northern Gulf Coast, we'll see below-average temperatures early next week. Models show a reinforcing shot of below-average Canadian air mass filtering into the Midwest and Northeast midweek. That could also be accompanied by showers and storms from the Great Lakes into the Northeast, and even some possible wintry precipitation for the higher elevations of the Adirondacks, Green, and White Mountains in the interior Northeast. With the troughing in the eastern half of the U.S., the cooler-than-normal weather is balanced by a ridge over much of the West Coast and Intermountain West. That pattern will gradually shift late week as the ridge moves east, followed by a new trough in the west. As the ridge moves east in Gulf of Mexico, moisture flows north into the Central Plains. Models indicate another trough ejection into the plains by late week into next weekend. That new low-pressure system will bring the possibilities for more severe weather from the plains for the last weekend in April. Storms and severe weather are then possible further east as the low-pressure system and trailing cold front traverse the central and eastern U.S. That is still a long way out meteorologically, so we'll have refined timing and details on any severe weather events closer to those days. In other weather-related current events, the Weather Company announced their seasonal outlook for the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season earlier today. Similar to Colorado State's recent prediction, TWC's forecast is for an above-average season in terms of total named storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes. A very active hurricane season is anticipated, in part due to above-average sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic Basin, combined with an expected shift from El Niño to La Niña conditions into the summer months. Please like and subscribe to this channel. We'll have more forecasts, updates, and also live severe weather streaming coverage. As we near the peak of severe weather in the late spring, it's important to have multiple ways to get weather warnings and updates.